Hello and welcome to the programme which looks at the Holy Land. I am Paul Calvert. Isaiah 40 verse 1 from the New King James Bible says this: Comfort, yes, comfort my people, says your God. I'm with Linelle Larue from Christian Friends of Israel here in Beersheva. Why are you here in Beersheva and what actually happened here?
So a few days ago, a missile had a direct hit on a soccer field, and behind it, 50 meters from there, are residential buildings, apartment blocks, and they were, of course, impacted by the shockwaves. So we came today with a bunch of volunteers to help clean out the apartments. There was a lot of glass all over the apartments, and we came to help them clean out so that the people can go back to their homes. There's many that's been displaced.
I imagine there's lots of glass and rubble and things everywhere.
Yes, everywhere, glass and rubble. So we have, they are so well geared, they give you like a hard hat and gloves, and you have bags to cover the window with, and you have brooms and dustpans, so everything is provided for.
Have you seen the area where the rocket actually impacted?
Yes, through the window of the house that we were cleaning. It just fell in like an open piece of soccer field, which is incredible because it's surrounded by houses. So really God was protecting the area.
And how far away was it from the actual houses?
It was probably about 50 meters away.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow, so very dangerous.
Yes, it's very dangerous.
Yeah. And how many days have you been doing this?
Well, this is our first day doing it here in Beersheva. We yesterday went to Bet Shemesh, where there was a direct hit, and unfortunately there 9 people passed away, whereas here there was just people injured. So we've been, the day before, we also had a team that went to Tel Aviv. So as Christian Friends of Israel, we've been doing this for a few days.
So do you see God's hand here in Beersheva?
Yes, I certainly do. But I think I see God's hands in the way that people respond to this. And I see compassion in people's hearts and people selflessly deciding to serve. So I feel like I see His protection over the people, but I also see His character in the response that the locals and foreigners like us have as well.
Have many people come together to actually do this work?
Yes, there has been a lot of volunteers from different organizations. Some are from the army, some are just... yesterday there was a father and his son that joined it. So it's beautiful to see such a variety of people from Jerusalem, from the area, from abroad. It's beautiful.
Now the house you were in today, the man who owned the house, he was there as well, wasn't he?
Yes, he was sitting outside, just in awe actually of what happened, but also of these people that come and help. So we spoke to him afterwards briefly, and he's at a loss for words, picking up the pieces again and looking at the damage to his artworks and things. It feels unreal. He's like shaking his head. It feels unreal.
What sort of damage do you see at the site?
Well, his TV was blown completely. Every single piece of glass was shattered. So anything of glass. His door was actually, there's no door handle. The impact of the blast actually, you can't open or close the door for some reason. He had lots of plants, so you even saw like splatters of plants all over the wall, and shrapnel on the opposite side of the wall. There was like shrapnel that damaged the walls.
And windows blown out?
All the windows were blown out, hence all of the glass.
So you being here, are you putting yourself actually in danger being in this area?
I don't feel no, I don't think so. I mean, there's bomb shelters all around, and this is the reality for so many people. So why will we hide when this is the reality for many? And the fact is, if sirens do go off, we have enough warning and we can get to safety. So I don't believe that we're putting ourselves in danger, no.
So if a siren goes off, what do you actually do if there is a siren here when it goes off?
So in the area where we were working, the bomb shelters downstairs doesn't have enough space for everyone. So we will then just cross the road to a school that's opposite the road, and they have a big bomb shelter where we would go. If we were working in an apartment building a bit further away, we will just go into the bomb shelter of the apartment. If you find yourselves outside and there's no bomb shelter close by, you would just lie down on the floor and cover your head.
Now, there's 2 teams came here. You're on a clean-up team. What is the other team doing?
So the other team are going to a hotel where there's about 360 displaced people, and they are distributing various necessities like shampoo, conditioner, toothbrushes, chocolates because it's Purim, things for the kids, toys, various things, because many of these families, they have been taken from their homes and put up in hotels. So, just to help the kids to pass their time and, just to be a blessing to them as well.
That must be very difficult, actually moving your family out of a location that has been hit by this devastation.
Yeah, I think it must be. I think also just walking through this man's house today, you see all his everyday life things are just there. And it was actually so beautiful seeing how the people that would come and clean up, the respectful way in which you deal with things and you clean it and you put it back. I think what is also important is that in a previous cleanup of a previous war, the cleanup only happened 8 or 9 days afterwards, so there was no electricity. So when you would enter a house, everything just like smelled rotten, all the food and things. So this is beautiful. This is happening like a day or two after the impact, and the cleanup happens faster. So it's quicker for people to be able to go back. And a lot of it can be worse. So it's great that there's first responders and so many of them.
So you've been sealing these houses with plastic. What's going to be next? Are they going to be getting the builders in to come and actually do the renovations again?
Yeah, that's a great question. I believe so. I think they will also assess if there's structural damage to the buildings and so forth, and then have more specific skills. But I realize that you first just want the windows to be closed so that there's not wind that comes in, and then it's almost like you're up for more. It's like when your room is a mess, if you just make your bed, you feel like, okay, I can do the rest. So as we were cleaning up today as well, when you enter, it's just so much chaos. So you would start moving the big things, and then in time you start seeing every little speck of dust and then start dealing with that. So I feel like now that it's cleaned up, one can really see what needs to be fixed, and then the people that are more skilled can come in and fix that.
One thing that hit me when I was in this gentleman's house was, there was paperwork on the floor, and there's like paper clips on the floor. They don't mean anything to me, but the paperwork means something to him, and now he's got to go and sort through this, and his life's going to be in a bit of a mess just for quite a while, isn't it?
It is, for sure, but at least it's going to be in a clean mess. Like, it was just beautiful being able to remove important documents and clean away all of the rubble and the glass that was there, so that when he comes to sort out the chaos, at least it's in a clean space.
Yeah. And even though we've stepped away from where the buildings were that were very close to being hit, a little bit further back, we've just walked past and we've seen roofs with tiles that have been displaced as well.
Yes, we saw that in Bashva as well. The tiles have completely moved, which I think when you would redo that, it would be removing of the tiles, but also then checking if all the bars that they were on have to be fixed, or if it's just the tiles that need to be moved. But so it's so much wider, the effect that this has. I don't think one is aware of it.
Yeah, is there so much work to still be done yet?
There's still a lot of work to be done, and so how it's working now is the teams would come in, teams of 5 or 6, and they would get an address and they'll go to that person's house, and then they will assess and clean up. And there's a lot of these apartments. Like I said, the one hotel that we are visiting today has about 360 people. So, I mean, all of that is different apartments, so there's a big need.
How do people respond when you tell them we are Christian Friends of Israel?
Oh, wow, is usually one of the responses. I think many times people are like, but why would you come? Like, you don't live here. And so the amount of thank yous that we get, there's such an openness to people, and they know that they're not alone because they can see that they're not alone. So I feel like wow is the word that I hear the most.
Are the people traumatized?
Many of them are. Many of them are. I think, again, coming back to Bashva yesterday, while we were there, we were actually at the site where the missile hit, and then the siren went off. So we actually then had to go into the neighbor's house and hide. There was glass also everywhere at that stage, but I could see there, because people died, there was more trauma. Later we were in another house, and again the siren went off, and we went with them. So I feel like when you spend time with the people, especially if they're in that similar situation again, there's something of fear that rises up. Whereas today I feel like the fact that there wasn't lives lost, I feel that does make a difference. But many people are traumatized, but they still choose to to choose life. And it being in Purim, even somebody was telling us that even if it's going difficult around you, you still have to celebrate on Purim. So we've been seeing that. We've been seeing how people still choose to celebrate, even in the midst of devastation. They still choose to say yes to life.
Was it difficult being in Bet Shemesh yesterday when so many people lost their life in that rocket attack?
Yes, I think the atmosphere was for sure heavier than it is today. It was for sure.
What is your prayer for this community that need to heal now?
I think my biggest prayer is that they will realize who God is and that He is the protector of Israel and that they are not alone, and just of a reality of Him and of His protection and of His life. And that they will be able to, that the physical needs will be met, but that the spiritual needs will also be met. That they will call out to God, because if I read the scriptures, everything that happens, God says this is so that Israel will know that I am the Lord and that all the nations will know that I am the Lord. So may that happen.
Are Israelis surprised that you've came from South Africa and you're here living under war?
They are surprised, but they're so grateful. I feel like they're more grateful than they are surprised. They know that there's a difference between what the government says and the people, but they're so appreciative.
Well, Linelle, thank you very much for sharing today.
Thank you, Paul. It was great.
Thank you for joining us today. Pray that God will move by His mighty power in the Holy Land and bring His peace.